When surveyed, most Americans would say that their favorite holiday is Christmas, which, comes as no surprise. Can we just be honest for a minute? Is it because we love getting gifts?
What is in here? Oh, come on.
I knitted it for you.
An oven mitt? Okay. So Phyllis is basically saying, hey, Michael, I know you did a lot to help the office this year, but I only care about you a homemade oven mitt's worth. I gave Ryan an iPod.
I know for me, when I was a kid, that was my answer. But now that I'm a parent, I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually like giving gifts to my kids way more than I like receiving anything for myself. Like, here's an example. Just a couple weeks ago, my wife and I decided, you know what? Instead of buying another plane ticket to try and go to Disney World, that might get canceled like the last one did, and lose out on all that money, let's just drive. However, 18 hours in the car with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, that's gonna be a long time. So we decided to buy them Kindle Fires. And we bought them on the spot, but we're not going to Disney until September. Once we got them all set up, and we were debating whether or not we were gonna let them know that they had them or not. And we lasted about 2 hours until we finally broke the news that we got them. We were just so excited to show them. And so as I was reading through this past week's Christmas story, which is ironic as we're talking about Americans' most favorite holidays, right? The story of Jesus shows the Father giving him good gifts as well. There are 2 gifts specifically, and 2 ways that I think God provides for Jesus just by reading through the Christmas story. So take a look at a couple with me. The first one I noticed, he gives Jesus obedient parents all the way throughout. Joseph and Mary are incredible. Right? We see Mary's response in Luke chapter 1, verse 38. We see Joseph's response, choosing not to divorce Mary. We see both of Joseph and Mary being willing to name Jesus as opposed to a family name, which was custom at the time. And then we see Joseph and Mary just picking up their life and moving to Egypt for a period of time, undetermined and unknown at that time how long it was going to be. Matthew chapter 2, verse 13. After the wise men were gone, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream. Get up, flee to Egypt with the child and his mother. Stay there until I tell you to return, because Herod is going to search for the child and kill him. So Joseph's parents quite literally saved his life because of their obedience. And all the other things all throughout. God chose incredible parents for Jesus, Joseph and Mary. Now the question is, are you as obedient as Joseph and Mary? Like, if we're honest, in our lives, are there things God asks us to do that we just refuse to not do? Whether it be, sharing our faith or looking out for the poor and the oppressed and the marginalized. Are there things that God's word has asked and demanded of us that we don't want to do because it makes us uncomfortable? See, Joseph and Mary, when they said yes, when they were obedient parents, they had to sacrifice a lot of their life. But here's the next thing. They just got up, they fled, they went to Egypt. How did they afford that? It's not like they were packed and ready to go and be gone in Egypt for a long period of time. Check it out. 2 verses earlier, Matthew 2, verse 11. When the wise men come, what did they bring? They brought Jesus gold and frankincense and myrrh. Jesus, a baby, 2-year-old. There's different speculation when in the timeline this is, but at most, Jesus is 2 years old. He is not using these things. So God provided for Jesus's family through the gifts of the Magi, through the gifts of the wise men. And because of his obedient parents and because of this provision that God gave, it ultimately was used as a way to save Jesus's life so that later on he would be able to save ours. And one kind of cross-reference I found super interesting this week, Hebrews chapter 10, by his death, Jesus opened a new and life-giving way through the curtain into the most holy place, because Jesus was willing to put on skin, and because he was willing to be born as a baby. He gave us a new way to interact with and to commune with and to come back together with the Father. How incredible is that truth? Real fast, a couple of things. You guys can go ahead and screenshot this if you want. If you want to dig deeper, I'm going to put a handful of verses here for you to dive into and look at the humanity of Jesus and what this means, because this is really a humanity-centric week, looking at him being born to a human, being born of a virgin, and all these things. So week 2, here we go. Let's do this thing. Excited to keep reading along with you guys. Thanks.